Hey, what's up guys? Commander Hill here again. Today I'll be doing a review on Halo 4, the Essential Visual Guide. This is my first book review, so I hope you guys enjoy it, and let's get started. Alright, so first off, we'll be taking a look at the front and back cover of this book. So at the front here, you can see a nice visual of Jul 'Mdama. I think that's how you pronounce his name. Please correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's Jul 'Mdama. But there's a nice in-game visual of him at the front cover, so that really gives the look of the Halo 4. You know this is a Halo 4 guide. Up here it says Halo 4, the Essential Visual Guide, which is the title of this book, if you're ever looking for that. It says the title on the side once again, and a nice little visual of the Master Chief. Moving on to the back, if you want to read that, but you can feel free to pause this video. I'm not going to read it out loud, but it says the next chapter in Halo, signaling that this is a Halo 4 guide. Up here it has visual of Requiem, a visual of the UNSC Infinity, the weapons drop pod, couple Covenant and a Promethean Knight, the Master Chief, and 3 Warthogs. Down here's all the copyright logos and all that, what this book was made by. A little barcode here, and also it's $16.99 in the US as well as in Canada, so that's how much it costs in the US and Canada. I'm not sure about the other countries, so you'll have to look that up. I'm sorry about that. And this is also printed in China. So let's take a look at the inside of this book. Alright, so first off, I'll be showing you every single section in this book. There is quite a few, but it won't take long to get through them all, so please hang in there. On each chapter, it shows different, for example, this chapter is characters, and then it has all the characters, and then there's weapons, has all the weapons, but I'll basically be showing you one page from each section. So at the start of each section, it takes up 2 pages for the, I guess you can call it a title page. Has a nice visual representing that section. So of course this is the characters section, it says along here, and it has a nice visual of the Master Chief representing that this is the character section since he is a main character. So flipping open the page, we'll look at this. It is indeed the Master Chief as one of the first characters. So this is the exact same setup of all the other characters in this book, only this one is the Master Chief. So up here it has the name of the certain character, and this one is of course Master Chief like I just said. Then there's a nice little paragraph about the character, the statistics about him, like example the name, the height, and the weight. Here a little visual of the certain character, and then a little sentence describing that visual. Over here it has a nice visual of that certain character, like his main body or her main body, and then it has little sentences pointing to certain parts of that picture. So up here it says integrated heads-up display, so that describes that part, just little details about the certain characters. So that's basically about the character section. Moving on, we have the factions section, which is basically just the Covenant species and some of the Promethean Knights, as well as the Crawlers and the Watchers. So up here we see a couple, Storm Grunt, a Storm Elite, and a Promethean Knight representing this section. And over here it has a nice little representing what this page is, a couple of pages is, which is the factions part. So moving on to the first page here, we have the Marines. Up here it says the name of the certain faction, a couple paragraphs about it, a little visual describing and a little sentence describing what that visual is about. Down here it shows the different ranks of that faction, as well as the statistics. And over here we also see the nice visual of that certain character, I guess you would say, as well as little sentences pointing to the certain parts of that character, which are some of the main features of that picture. But that's basically it about the factions part. Moving on, we have the weapons section. So here we see the Halo 4 style EVA holding a nice turret there. So that's a very nice visual for this section. Then moving over here, we have it says weapons down the side. Flipping that open, we'll start off with the assault rifle, which was one of the main weapons in Halo. We've basically seen that in a lot of the Halo games, maybe in every one. I think it didn't show up as much in the first one. I'm not even sure. I haven't played a lot of the games in a while. So it says the name of the weapon, a couple paragraphs about it, shows a nice visual of that certain weapon, as well as little sentences here and there describing certain parts of it. Like down here it shows that this is the magazine, where the magazine goes, as well as the stabilizing foregrip. So just little nice details about that certain weapon. Has the statistics, and as well as a little visual up here of someone operating that weapon, as well as a little sentence describing what the picture is all about. But that's basically it about the weapons section. Moving on, we have the vehicles section, which is both Covenant and UNSC, as well as other sections. They're not really split into Covenant and UNSC. They're just all put together in a certain section. So here we have 3 Warthogs lined up in probably the UNSC Infinity, so that's very cool. Of course, they're Halo 4 styled Warthogs, so a nice visual of them. Sorry about the glare there, guys. I can't really help that with my light. And along the side it says vehicles. So moving on to the first page inside, we have the Warthog, of course, which is one of the main vehicles in Halo. Up here it says the name of the vehicle, a couple paragraphs about it, a nice little visual about that certain vehicle and how it operates, a little sentence describing that visual, shows the vehicle down here in nice detail, a couple sentences pointing to certain parts of it, as well as the statistics. So that's basically it about the vehicle section. Up next, we have the equipment section. Over here, we see a weapons drop pod. I'm pretty sure that's what that is, as well as a sniper rifle attached in it, and a nice little background here. And along the side, it does indeed say equipment. Flipping this open, our first one here is the cryo tube, which is one of the main features in Halo 4, since this is like one of the first equipment you see in Halo, where the Master Chief rises out of it. Up here, it says the name of that certain equipment, a couple paragraphs about it. It shows a nice visual of the equipment as well as little sentences pointing to different parts of it, the statistics about it, as well as its manufacturer, its usage, length, width, height. And then over here is a nice little visual about it as well, and a little sentence describing that visual. But that's basically it about the equipment section. Moving on to one of my favorite sections of all, we have the armor section. This section has every single armor you'll see in the Halo 4 game. We have the EVA, the Orbital, every single armor, so they really outdid themselves with this. They're not missing one armor, I don't think. This is one of the most impressive sections in this entire guide. So over here we have a couple of the armors lined up together. I think that's a perfect visual for this section, as well as a little writing down here saying that this is the armor section. Flipping this open, our first armor here is the air assault armor. It has a nice little, it shows the name of the certain armor, a nice paragraph about it, little visual as well as a sentence describing that visual. We have a nice visual of that certain armor. They're all cut down below the waist, so you don't really get to see the legs that much in a lot of them, but you do get to see them in another visual. A lot of them have two visuals instead of one, like we've been seeing with the other sections. So we have a nice visual, little sentence describing that visual, as well as the statistics. But that's basically it about the armor section. Definitely a very, very impressive section in this entire guide. Alright, now moving on to probably the smallest section in this entire guide. We have the ship section. Up here we see one of the main ships in Halo 4, which is the UNSC Infinity. So this is a nice little visual of that, as well as ships written on the side. So opening this up, we have the UNSC Forward Unto Dawn. A lot of these ships take up 2 pages because they want to get the main visual in here. I thought this one especially was very well done, since in Halo 4 you don't really see the UNSC Forward Unto Dawn in a whole. You only get to see half of it since it was broken half. So they actually did that. As you can see, they didn't put the whole UNSC Forward Unto Dawn in this. They just put half of it. So I thought that was really smart on their part. So on the side here, we have the statistics, the name of that certain ship. We have a couple paragraphs describing the ship, as well as different visuals, a lot of different visuals for each ship, as well as little sentences describing the visuals, a nice visual of the ship itself, as well as little sentences here and there describing the certain parts of the ship. But that's basically it about this section. Alright, now moving on to our final section in this book, we have the location section, which is basically just all different planets and such that we see in Halo 4. So here we have a nice visual of the main planet in Halo 4, which is Requiem, where this whole story basically takes place. So we have a nice visual of Requiem, as well as some stars in the back, very cool, and it does say locations along the side here. Flipping this open, our first one is, of course, Requiem. Like I just said, it's one of the main planets in Halo 4. Up here it says the name of a certain planet, a couple paragraphs describing it, a couple little visuals and sentences describing the visuals, as well as statistics about that certain planet. As you can tell, this is the only section where they don't have little sentences pointing to different parts of it, because you can't really do that with a planet. So I thought that was kind of unique about this section. But that's it for the sections. Let's move on to the conclusion of this video. Sorry about that. Overall, I give this book a solid 10 out of 10. I think this guide was really, really well done compared to the 2011 release we got with the other Halo 4 games. I really did not like that one. It was missing so much information. But this book alone, like this guide, is really, really helpful if you want to get more into the Halo universe. This has absolutely everything you see in Halo 4 that you can imagine. Of course, the Flood is not mentioned in here, since that's only in the multiplayer. So it's not really part of the Halo 4. This is just focusing on the game itself. So it has like every single character you'll see in the game, every single species, especially the armor section is probably the most impressive part of this guide, since it has every single armor in the Halo 4 game. You'll see it takes up like almost 20 pages in this book, so that's really impressive. They put all the armor in here, every single vehicle. I think they really outdid themselves with this guide. Of course, it does include a glossary and an index, and all that you'd see with a guide you use in like school or something. So it's very, very impressive. Nice visuals from in-game. So overall, 10 out of 10. If you really want to get a nice Halo 4 guide, definitely pick this one up if you want to get more into the Halo universe. But that pretty much does it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Please don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Commander Hill, out.